Hello one and all, and welcome back to Hippo Cup 9. Here we are with our second group stage match of this block. My name is Hubba, and joining me on comms is Torva. Here we are with lounette versus pipotam. Lounette is the all-French team for this iteration of Hippo Cup. And pipotam is sort of a hodgepodge of 4-digit D rankers, as well as some Russian OWC players, believe it or not. Hober38, a part of that roster as well. So I am curious to see how it turns out. How are you feeling about the matchup?
I'm feeling great about this matchup. I know quite a decent few players in this matchup, and I mean you've got some cracked players, especially when it comes to looking at these players in each team. I'm very interested to see how it goes. I mean, French super roster versus another super roster. I feel like this can get very, very close. This could be tiebreaker potential, but I don't want to call it too early because sometimes the momentum just isn't there for that day, so it can go either way. But I do think this is definitely one of the matches to keep an eye out for, especially when it does have that potential in there.
Yeah, in my head, I'm looking at this as sort of a mechanics versus gimmick type of matchup. This French roster just kind of good at everything, but in specific, there's a lot of really solid aim players on this roster. Looking at players like Potaru, looking at players like Garage. They do have Thunder on the roster for that gimmick, but I'm unsure how they will fare against that gimmick roster. On the other side, of course, Hober38, Zany, perhaps all being on the same team is really scary, and Cheng as well being on that team, another really solid hidden gimmick player who I'm unsure if they have woken up for this match, given it would be 6 a.m. for them, I do believe, if they were playing. So I believe they were UTC -8 being up in Oregon. So we shall see if they do have that full roster, but as you mentioned, the skill set's so defined, I do feel like this is going to be a close matchup, at least on paper, if these teams are picking properly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the whole team is awake, but again, you can't fully expect them to be up and ready to play at 6 in the morning. That's a bit unfortunate scheduling now on their end, but yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. I mean, interesting with the gimmick on the side of pipotam. I mean, they've got such fantastic players when it comes to that side of things, and then lounette having such fantastic mechanics players. I think the pick and bans could be quite readable in a sense, but I'm interested to see how it goes. And I have to do it at least once, otherwise it wouldn't feel right to me. You have the man, the myth, the legend, Sully! So I have to do it once.
I, unfortunately, being an American, could not afford the COE ticket last year, so I'm unsure what the reference is, but I believe it. Sully.
Right there. Number 6 ban, why? Why are we getting rid of bangers?
Goodbye is storyboard. They don't want to learn. Does this mean they're also banning school? Wait, if they don't want to learn.
They don't want to learn. That free mod 4 is just gone. It's deleted.
But on the side of lounette, personally, I'm like, Nomad 3 has been such a played map in these matches, and I feel like that trio of Hober38, perhaps, and Zany are going to be really solid on it. I wouldn't be surprised to see that banned out by lounette here. Even something, I don't know, I'm feeling like everything else in this pool is sort of 50-50. These teams so closely aligned in skill set. Getting rid of those more technical no mods is probably going to be the play.
Yeah, I mean, just getting rid of the more... I mean, for the side of lounette, getting rid of the more awkward maps. I mean, I do see it being a very viable pick. I mean, hence why they did get rid of the no mod 6 after all. I mean, against a team like pipotam, I do get it. It's still sad to see. But also getting rid of the no mod 1 as well. Oh, no mod 1 actually being the first ban, never mind. So wait, does that mean no mod 6 isn't banned? Oh my god.
No. Pipotam banned no mod 6.
Oh damn it. Okay, I just can't breathe.
Yeah. So Nomad 1 being the ban from lounette, and pipotam banning that Nomad 6. I am actually on second thought.
Why did they ban it? Wait, what?
Okay,
Okay, that's not something I was expecting.
I'm gonna... Okay, no. Zany is awake. Perhaps is awake. Okay, I'm double checking to make sure they have their full roster, because that...
Yeah.
Knowing the players on that team banning the storyboard map is incredibly curious to me. But,
yeah, I feel like that No Mod 6 would have fit them so perfectly, but, you know, seeing, you know, Lounette getting rid of the No Mod 1, that I can kind of understand, but, yeah, wrapping my head around that No Mod 6 ban, okay, I mean, if you're not comfortable, if you didn't practice it, fair, I mean, I get it, right? It's still a storyboard map at the end of the day, it's still way different than what you're used to usually playing, but still, again, I feel like that would have been something they just excel at, but maybe they just haven't put enough practice into it this weekend.
yeah, I suppose so. Thinking about... I don't know, they're really deliberating on the second ban. I think... Oh, HR4 getting rid of that precision. I'm not opposed to that ban, especially with free mod 1. You get the, of course, the comfort of picking whatever you're more comfortable on, and with pipotam having a lot of comfortable reading players, that should be solid for them to leave open. So HR4 out of the wayside, as well as that No Mod 6. Both bottom slotted maps, as lounette. Likely to get rid of another aim, but it is going to be No Mod 5 getting rid of fly. As mentioned, a lot of low AR comfort on pipotam. It's going to be gone now.
Also, yeah, another understandable ban. Another ban I'm sad to see gone, but yeah, getting rid of fly, understandable. Bit different, a bit more of an awkward map, and especially with the forced hidden for 2 players, it's understandable for it to be gone on their side. But, you know, pipotam do get the first pick, they do get to open up the match. And I see them picking into something, you know, a bit different, a bit weirder, I guess. Especially on the reading side. But, you know what, to some small surprise, for as much as they don't want to learn the No Mod 6, they haven't banned school. They can still go to school to learn anyway. They're still on the table.
Yeah, school's still open, and if anything, it sort of becomes a pick for them now, right? With that No Mod 1 ban. You don't really get much closer than the free mod 4. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see them actually pick into it, especially with players like Potaru and Pregnancy in the lobby, who are very solid aim specialists, of course, as the name Potaru would imply.
I love the name Potaru. I feel like you look at that name and you can just immediately think, that player is just going to be cracked on aim. Especially when it comes to DTM. Like, that's my initial assumption just seeing that name. And yeah, I see them definitely picking into the aim picks to maybe capitalize on that possibility, or even maybe some of those more, you know, more old or technically focused maps, especially like, you know, capitalizing for like Pregnancy. I mean, I'm interested to see just what their first pick is. They definitely seem to be heavily debating it, because taking the moment they have to, you know, really decide on what they want to go into. But with so much open to them, it's honestly like the illusion of free choice. You have so much open to you that making a decision becomes impossible.
Yep, super deliberating on it at the moment. Actually, I was incorrect. It is Potaru who is actually on the French side. He's just kind of on the wrong side of the screen for funsies. But Flamenco House, HR2, is going to be the first pick going into that rhythmic hard rock map that we unfortunately did see banned in the last match, but is very volatile for this pool. And I really like this pick. Perhaps a really solid hard rock player. Zany, a player who can fill the skill set, especially on this sort of gimmickier hard rock map, when they have their hidden mod, which they will surely be taking here alongside Hober. This is a recipe for a really solid start on the side of pipotam.
Yeah, I see this definitely being a solid starter to, you know, be brought in. I'm definitely interested to see how it goes. However, I believe no fail is required. I'm also very interested to see who, you know, is bringing the hiddens for each side. I mean, for Zany, I think Zany is almost guaranteed hidden. That guy, I don't think I've ever seen that guy not running hidden. The guy's just kind of cracked. But it's the others that I'm more interested to see where the hiddens do actually come into play.
Based on who is in lobby, I am curious as well. I would imagine it's going to be Hober. Hober, I believe, was on the OWC team this year specifically for hidden specialty. Alongside Zany as well. Perhaps and Kemzy a little bit more known as hard rock specialists or tech specialists in the case of Perhap. It's just going to be filling in most of the maps here. This is likely to be your core roster for most of the picks on the side of pipotam.
Yeah, I see it definitely being the main bunch they do bring in quite often. But then on the side of lounette, I mean, I'm interested to see who they bring in. I mean, they have Thuya, they have Thunder, they have Amao, and they have Long Noir. I mean, the hiddens I'm definitely interested in. I'm not entirely sure who the hidden specialists will be. I mean, that's assuming they fully delve into it. And yeah, Thuya and Thunder for the side of lounette seem to be bringing hidden. And I believe, yeah, Perhap and Zany. Zany being the expected hidden and Perhap as well. So the map does get to start, and let's see how this Hard Rock 2 goes as the opening map pick.
Yeah, I'm a little unfamiliar with some of the players on lounette. Amao, Chopi, and Thuya are new names to me, but Thunder and Long Noir I know as being pretty comfortable Hard Rock players. Thunder likely to be the anchor on their side, but already the accuracy battle having a little bit of struggles. You're seeing a lot of 100s on the later end for both Amao and Long Noir. Just finding their footing on this sort of rhythmic ult. Still no breaks early on, but the accuracy battle is firmly in the hands of pipotam, despite that 95 from Perhap, as we head into our first key eye.
Yeah, again, the map to its full start, first quarter being done. We do see the early lead going in favor of pipotam, but, you know, the accuracy battle does seem to be getting a bit closer and closer, but it's going to be on those first misses to come out that will definitely be the game changer if they do come out. I'm expecting them to see, especially relatively soon as we get into the halfway point of the map, and there's so many sections you see with how awkward they can be to aim. The sliders can play the bit of ult. You know, so many sections to find those awkward misses on, but they just seem to be holding on perfectly fine. No misses to be found just yet getting through the first half of the map, and it's still an 8-way full combo, and it's just the accuracy battle, which is still just in favor of pipotam.
Yeah, accuracy staying about as stagnant as ever on the side of that top row for Long Noir and Apot. But Zany, Kemsey, and Hober Hall holding around that 98 average is going to be so strong. The standout player on Thuya holding at 99, but fortunately not having super strong backing on the accuracy here, especially as the map winds down. Any 100s for this latest section going to be worth a little bit more score, but when that score lead is already 300k, you're looking for a break, and that's not the one lounette was hoping for, as Amao finds that drop on those ending wiggles, and pipotam confirm a successful first point.
Yeah, unless like a catastrophic event happens where all 4 players miss, I do think it is going to be completely solidified in their favor, and the map is pretty much coming to a close. And almost an 8-way full combo on this match, but unfortunately with a miss coming from Amao, it is a 7-way full combo with about 3 million difference in favor of pipotam. A very solid intro pick, and just solid accuracies across the board. 3 98s. And 2 of them being almost 99s. I mean, just such a strong map to start out with. And, I mean, definitely the way you want to enter a match, just in general. Just coming in with absolute confidence, and definitely a small bit of a mental boost for that strong pick at the start.
Yeah, and pipotam is a team that knows their strengths, right? They're really good at the technical stuff. They're really good at the accuracy, at the rhythm, and they're going to be playing into that throughout this match. Of course, with maps like DT5 and No Mod 4 still on the table, I expect them to be using their full arsenal, but in lounette, they'd have a pretty much full DT open as well. The whole DT pool, I believe, no bans being provided there except for DT4. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a DT1 pick come out just to begin a little bit of high AR abuse. Just because if any team is going to be susceptible to it, it is going to be pipotam with how privy they are to gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, picking something, you know, just complete opposite of what they're used to playing definitely was a strong idea to go into, especially if your team are more comfortable with it, but again, I also do see lounette just going into a lot more of those mechanics-focused maps, like, again, the No Mod 2, the 3 Mod 3, or even maybe the No Mod 3, just being a bit more, you know, a bit more on the either mechanical or flow aiming side of things, but it seems they're going to go into that 3 Mod 2 instead of going to Bull and Eagle.
Yeah, Fremont 2, the awkward aim pick. I am deeply unsure about this one. I don't dislike the pick. I just think it's like a lot more coin flippy than other maps in this pool. Because it's awkward aim, and it is just sort of playing into a gimmick skill set again. Aim is still aim, regardless of how you chalk it out, but I feel like at this SR, and especially with pipotam being able to take their comfort mods as provided, this may be a recipe for disaster if lounette isn't supremely consistent here.
Yeah, if there's even a small shake moment where, you know, maybe the confidence isn't at full force, I think this pick could be a bit more of a gamble. But if they're picking it as their first pick in the match, you know, just to open up and get as their immediate counterpoint to, you know, the first point on the board for pipotam, I do see it being something they can definitely bring for themselves. But again, I still see it being more on the riskier side, maybe testing the waters to see what they can and can't get away with. But I mean, don't get me wrong, they still have very strong and very solid aim players on their side. They definitely have the capabilities to bring out some crazy scores on this, but yeah, against pipotam, I mean, it still just feels a bit weird to go into. But again, I mean, if it was something they came up with as a plan that they wanted to go into, then you just gotta trust the process, and I think that's something you gotta keep an eye out for and keep it in mind that, you know, it's something they're picking confidently. Trust the process, see what happens.
As we go in, all players in the lobby, it is Garage Dulac hopping in place of Amount for this one. Same roster just about for pipotam as well. It's actually Zany swapping out for Cheng, which is a little surprising to me given the map, but it is free mod 2. It is Bull and Eagle. You're looking at this sort of awkward aim styling, which is what Cheng's specialty is, if anything else. And an overmod from both sides, slightly more on the side of lounette with that hidden hard rock from Thuya. But it's double hidden on Garage Dulac, Thunder, Cheng, and nobody else actually. It's triple hard rock for pipotam and a very early break from Garage Dulac.
Yeah, but I mean, also traded out by Hober, so shouldn't cause too many problems. Maybe an early lead in favor of lounette, but another miss coming in from Garage to maybe flip it back over. So, no, a bit of a weird intro to start off with. I mean, do see a bit of trade misses going in, but pipotam do get to come out of the intro with a pretty early lead. But this map is on the long grind, especially for this map pool overall. So there's definitely a lot of chances for it to be flipped over again, and you get a lot of these long sliders where it's definitely very easy to find a very unfortunate slip up, a very unfortunate slider break. But in this case, I do not think we're going to be seeing it for a moment. Get a small bit of a quite a break section, I guess you could call it, until, you know, the map does kick back off, going into this awkward aim, going back to the sliders here and there. I mean, yeah, it's just an early runaway a bit for pipotam, but again, still an unfortunate miss away from a flip over, so time will only tell as we get to that halfway point.
Yeah, score still continuing to build, but it's perhaps with the second break here. And this hard rock overmod on this map in particular can lead to some really dicey results, with some of the slider ticks being presented in these longer sliders. There's invisible ticks, as shown by Hober and Thuya missing on some of them. Hober missing on the invisible one, Thuya on the more visible one, so maybe following the slider a little more difficult than anticipated there, but it's combo advantage for lounette as we head into our final quarter, a very volatile final 300 combo here for those remaining FCs. Cheng and Kemsy got to hold on tight. Actually, Hober with his second break is going to be helping things even more so for lounette.
Yeah, they're getting to have a bit of an early lead. Oh, perhaps also breaking on the slider section, which is going to make recovery pretty much, honestly, almost impossible to follow along with, especially with it being, you know, 2 million difference in 2 scores compared to pretty much 3 now with the Garage's, you know, recovery, and strong recovery at that. But, oh my lord, they hold on through that awkward slider section. It's so easy to find breaks there, but just didn't seem to be a problem, and it does seem to be a very strong pick for lounette. I mean, we were saying about it being a bit risky, a bit gambly at the start, but Thunder going out with a 1-100 run on the entire map, I mean, just fair play. It's such a strong set of scores from them, and maybe the thing we thought was gamble, it was just something that they were confident with. As I said, trust the process, because the process seems to be working out for them.
Yeah, ended up working out in the end. I do think that hard rock overmod definitely had something to do with it. Of course, all the mods on lounette sort of demanded it. It's interesting when you're in the lobby on a Fremont map and you see the other team take just like a full roster of mods because you're like, well, it's group stage. In theory, we're all going to be FCing this map. We kind of have to take mods now. So, really solid stuff from lounette getting that first point on the board. But back over to pipotam, and still looking to pounce on some of these gimmick and technical skill sets, looking at maps like that free mod 1, like that no mod 3, likely to be in the future for them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely still a lot of options on the board, and it is pipotam's pick. I mean, I do see them going into, again, a bit something more different. I mean, that free mod 2 was still reasonably close. I mean, towards the end, obviously, it got a bit more favor towards lounette, but especially on the earlier half, it did seem a bit more favor towards them. So maybe they can still pick into those free mods, a bit more of those more different ones, like maybe the free mod 1, free mod 4, but it seems they're going to the DT4 as their pick, going into Eureka Baby. And if I remember this map correctly, even with it being a minute long, still on the shorter end, the difficulty of this map is more actually like 15 seconds. The intro is the hardest part of this map from what I remember, and it is just going to be it's going to be pretty much up to that intro combo unless there's an unfortunate slip up midway through.
Yeah, there's two real highlights of the map, and that is that those intro square patterns and a 260 BPM, this map nearly 270 BPM long burst right in the center of the map. So if you find an over tap or an under aim on that long burst, your score is diminished so significantly. And I am surprised to see pipotam picking into this given what we know them for. I mean, there's not a ton of DT specialty on either side here, but this feels even more coin flippy than usual. But I mean, if Fremont 2 worked out, again, trust the process. You're going to be seeing a different roster on the side of pipotam, and Zero Eyes hops in as one of those designated DT specialists for the team.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying about it being a bit more coin flippy, I mean, I feel like even if you get teams that are confident on this kind of map, this map does just feel like a coin flip no matter what. So adding in, you know, a bit less of that, maybe the DT comfort that you would expect to see in a lot of teams. I mean, this map is just the definition of maybe gamble, maybe just see what happens, test the waters, see, just commit to the bit almost. And, you know, we're seeing if this map does get to pay off. I believe we're seeing Kemsey, perhaps Hobart, and Zero Ice. But I am definitely be looking closely to what happens here. And as you're saying, you know, with that the middle long burst, the intro squares, I mean, so many easy places to find breaks, but if you're comfortable on those two sections, it's almost a guaranteed full combo for this map, and that's kind of the important part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hobart remaining the anchor alongside Thunder, opposite to him for these teams as the DT rosters hop inbound. Zero Ice and Kemsey, mechanics players for the side of pipotam, whereas lounette still keeping their core four of Lank Noir, Duya, and Garage. We'll have to see if it pays off as we head into the 267 BPM Eureka Baby. Of course, blink and you'll miss it with regards to this opening pattern. The squares so devastating, so quick. Have to see who misses on them.
Oh, Hobart is just playing his own game at this point, playing in his own world. There we go. Map does get to start going in. We see misses coming in from Garage, Noir, and Hobart, I believe, on that intro. So early lead going in favor of pipotam, and possibly might have already been open and closed book. But again, still that middle section to keep an eye out on to see what happens, and still more than enough time for things to switch over. But perhaps does get the early SS, same as Hobart and Thuya. So, you know, it could be still a very strong early lead for the set of pipotam. But, oh, that's a very unfortunate break coming from Hobart to flip the score over, especially at this halfway point. And the burst, I don't think seems to be claiming anyone else.
Yeah, there's one of them. These bursts so tricky, but Hobart missing on that overlap section, as well as Zero Ice on these in-between aim sections. Just feeling a little less confident on the super snappy aim. And I mean, that is a devastating point for lounette. Wait just a minute, there was a break at the tail end by Thuya, but not enough for that 1 million score lead. pipotam finding their first break point here at the hands of lounette, 2-1, and momentum can switch just like that on the Hippo Cup pools. These maps so short, so devastating. no FCs on the side of lounette, but regardless of score v1, they do close out that win.
Yeah, I mean, they just comboed exactly where needed to, and even with the two full combos coming in from Kenzie and perhaps, especially with strong accuracies as well, unfortunately just wasn't enough to make up for those two unfortunate, pretty much middle map breaks coming in from Hober and Zero Eyes, which is almost catastrophic for them, as, you know, it does give over that first break point, and with it being Leonette's pick, they can definitely capitalize on it, and they do just have to go straight into the DT1, going something they're possibly a bit more comfortable with, especially after seeing that on that DT. I mean, as we did say, it was a bit of a coin flip, a bit more of a gamble, and unfortunately for this time, that gamble just wasn't enough to pay off.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting DT1 as well with Lookbook. You are going into similar high approach rate aim in the DT pool, but this one also featuring those control elements. Not super dense in finger control, but you have these kind of snap 1/6 in between your traditional 190 BPM aim. And that kind of comfort really demands your high AR comfort. And as we saw in that last pick, it seems like lounette seems to have a little bit of an edge there. So I like this just as a snap next pick. I like this as a pick prior to that DT4 happening. So lounette looking to pounce on that with their aim roster a bit here.
Yeah, hopefully looking to fully capitalize on it. Lookbook, I mean, also another relatively short map, 1 minute 36, so definitely a bit longer than the last map of that DT4, but, you know, still on the shorter end, and I believe we're going to be seeing Padoro making, I think, the first full appearance in the map?
Yep, should be the case for their team. Zero is going to be remaining in the lobby alongside Hober. Actually, different looks from multiple players on lounette. There's a lot of shifting going on. I do see Zentoro in the lobby, who I do believe is a part of the team. Actually, no, that is on the side of pipotam. So, same core 4 for lounette. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And pipotam switching out Zentoro into the lobby for their first map.
Yeah, bringing them in, see how it plays out, but, you know, still keeping in, you know, Kenzie, Zero Ice, and perhaps still being in the lobby. And then, yeah, of course, on side of Leonette, you still have Garage, you still have Thuya, you still have Thunder, and Lonk Noir. So, you know, you still, as you said, that main 4, the main roster they've been pretty comfortable with, pretty confident with, and, you know, maybe hoping to, you know, bringing that 3rd point home for their team. The good lucks are here, the have funs are ready, and I believe the players are now prepared to get into the lobby, get into the map, and just fully play into this map. The DT1 Lookbook. And yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. Oh, one of the hidden seems to be missing. Bancho moment. Let's go. We love Bancho. There we
Bancho
go.
moment. Having a look, of course, I have some insider details. They have been practicing. Zentoro actually just FC'd the map 6 minutes ago. So let's see if he can do that again, I suppose. Consistency is key in these Hippo Cup groups. But you are seeing some of the awkward natures of this map with these rounded sliders and these 1/6 snaps in between. Looking to see who is catching these slider ends as well. That extra combo. Every little bit counts in these Hippo Cup pools. Still no breaks early on, but the aim control so tricky on this pick. On a map shorter than you would expect, just about 670 combo for the FC. No. Oh, wait just a minute.
Coming in from Kenzie, yeah, unfortunate break, especially in the middle section of the map as well. Pretty much where the most crucial misses come in, and another one coming in from Bahab. Oh, this is not looking good for pipotam. I mean, it's 4 full combos to 2, and, you know, it's the 3rd quarter of the map, getting to the last sections pretty much, the last about 200, 100 combo, and it's not looking ideal now for the side of pipotam, especially with another miss coming from Bahab, sorry. And Thunder is the first player to find the break on the side of Leonette, but I do not know if it's going to be enough. I mean, pretty much 4 million to close up on, and with such little time and no combo, I'm not entirely sure I don't think it's going to be possible at all, which means I think that's the 3rd point on the side of Leonette.
Yeah, that is really devastating there. It was both of those breaks happening right in the middle in the slowdown section, actually. For Kemsey and Perhap, it was the transition from those higher spacing patterns into the more control-oriented in-between that struck him out. So Lounette, very comfortable with that three-way FC on Garage Tuya and Lanc Noir to close and consolidate that initial breakpoint, but back over to pipotam and probably looking to change up the game plan a little bit.
Yeah, maybe just completely change up the picks, go somewhere completely different, because DTs doesn't seem to be paying off well for them in the slightest. Maybe, again, still picking to maybe those free mods. I mean, even with how the free mod 2 went, the free mods remaining are still quite different, so they definitely have a decent bit of variety on the board, but maybe even picking into something like the hard rocks or even the remaining no mods. I mean, still so much variety remaining and so many options available to them, especially with, you know, the variety that their team can bring, especially when it comes to gimmick maps or just even maybe a bit of aim, even if, you know, the aim's being a bit shaky right now, especially when lounette are playing so well on it, but it is interesting to see how this pick can go. I feel like I'm expecting a free mod, but instead they do want to go into that hard rock 3.
I am happy to see this map. I've yet to see it in match, but this map, one of my favorite maps in the game, Puppet Theater of Tweebox, mapped by Molnea, I believe. Just really wholesome 170 BPM stream map with like some cute snap doubles in between. This is as consistency as you're going to get in this hard rock pool. I believe the FC hovers around 1800 combo, like 1843 if memory recalls. Really solid stuff here. I am curious to see the roster hopping, and I do see Zany in the lobby for a stream pick, because you look on the side of lounette, there is a lot of stream comfort players on that side, and you're seeing a roll come through from Hober. I would imagine that is to determine who's going to be playing this map, so a little bit of a backlog of players potentially for pipotam. Seems like it's going to be Kemsey, Cheng, Hober, and Zany though. Pregnancy in the lobby, but unlikely to play the stream map given what we know them for, mostly for the aim.
Yeah, I mean, the one player I was fully expecting to see on this map, the stream map, is going to be the man himself, Sully. I mean, fantastic stream player, so you got to bring him in when it comes to the stream map, especially when it comes to, a bit more of the consistency on the longer side of streams, but I do believe we are actually seeing Pregnancy come in for this map, which, even though they are definitely stronger on the aim thing, I'm not completely surprised with it being, 170 BPM, a bit more like comfort BPM, especially for, these players. It's definitely something I could definitely see Pregnancy bringing a good score out on, but yeah, I do think this is going to be decently favored to lounette, but with it being, pipotam's pick, again, it's another case of trust the process. Picking something that may not seem too comfortable on. It worked out for lounette, so maybe it'll work out for pipotam. It can go either way, but yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how this goes. And two players that maybe weren't fully expected to on some pipotam definitely is a bit of a unique option, I would say, to say the least.
Yeah, Cheng, mostly on this team for the hidden mechanics, going to be coming through as well. Zany, a little bit more of an all-rounder on these hidden maps. Did plenty fine with their HR2 FC, looking to recreate with Hard Rock 3 now. It's going back to the Hard Rocks. Is going to be pipotam with this pick. Already you're seeing a pretty massive act drop from Potaru as you see the roster changes come through alongside Sully. No breaks, but general low accuracy all across the board. Cheng down in the 80s is really surprising to me as we are in our very early goings.
Yeah, down to the 90%, like genuinely 90 almost on the dot actually. It's a bit unfortunate about the end, but still pretty much 1600 combo remaining to recover on. Definitely more than enough time to do so. And if you're going to have your rank drops early in, is probably the best you can do, especially with Score V1 with, the combo scaling influencing a lot of that accuracy, especially towards the ending. But into the long streams, no one, I think, had too many major problems with it. And, I mean, you're still seeing Pregnancy sitting in 99, who I believe is the highest accuracy in the lobby, which is doing them a lot of favors, especially when the recovery as the score lead does start to flip left and right. Can't really make its full decision as it gets the first quarter of the map being done, but it is going to be up to those major misses to come in, because there's a lot of time in this map for those to happen, and there's so many cases where you can just find such an unfortunate slip-up, so it's just waiting for that moment to happen, but, it seems to be holding on just fine for all 8 of these players currently.
Yeah, the interesting thing with the accuracies here is with how long this map is or how dense in combo it is. I don't think there's any map as combo dense in this pool other than the tiebreaker. So the placement of the 100 starts to matter on Score V1 as well. The deeper in you get, getting 100s later on in the map is going to matter a ton. You're starting to see those 100s chain pop up on players like Pregnancy. Still no combo breaks as we are at the halfway point, but this map getting quite scary for these players as it builds on. It's just about a 300k lead on the side of lounette for this accuracy advantage.
Yeah, this part is so critical to hold on to, especially with Scorpio 1, as we keep mentioning, because, you know, those middle section breaks are so fatal, and there it is, coming in from Padoru to be the first break as well, which is not ideal for the side of Lounette. I mean, they were looking so strong, they were holding a lead that was decently comfortable, but that miss coming in could be the thing that spells disaster for them. There's still another quarter of the map remaining, but it is going to be up to pipotam to find those breaks soon if it's going to happen, but with how comfortable they're looking now, especially on those recoveries and the accuracy side of things, they're looking quite solid with it. But, oh, Pregnancy does have a major act drop, but it doesn't seem to drop a break anywhere, which is definitely a good position for them to be in. 5 million score advantage and getting to the last quarter of the map. I mean, if there's a hope for lounette, it needs to be coming from the misses, and now more than ever.
Yeah, that was really scary. That was the most stamina-dense stream of the map, hence the accuracy drop from Pregnancy. But 400 combo remaining with the FC potential, and pipotam seem to be closing this out with this 4-way. It's going to take 2 misses at this point, seeing as the lead is nearly 10 million and growing. And time is running out for those misses to happen. lounette at the behest of a 4-way FC from pipotam. And back in business they are. Their first point win was off the back of a 4-way FC, and they're looking to recreate it now. All eyes on the players on that side. Kemsey, highest AC over there with the 98.5. FC still being held. Final stream of the map. And nobody gets slow slidered. It is going to be a confirmed 4-way.
Yeah, Kemsey almost getting caught by the slow slide at the end, but recovered just in time to not find the break. A strong 4-way full combo on their side, with Kemsey having the best accuracy for their team, but Thuya and Thunder having the strongest accuracies overall. But unfortunately, with the miss coming in from Padoru halfway in the map, just isn't going to do much for them, which is so unfortunate to see. I mean, it was looking so strong for them, and it was a map that perfectly fit their skill sets, but yeah, it's just those unfortunate 1 misses in the middle section that is just going to end it for your team, especially on those maps. And yeah, pipotam do get their second point on something that wasn't favored to them. So, you know what? The match isn't looking so one-sided on the skill sets as it might have seemed at the start.
Yeah, with that intro 3 going away, it does seem like pipotam going to be running with more of those Hard Rock picks. Unfortunately, they were the ones to ban the Hard Rock 4. So, with that map out of the way, it does call into question how comfortable they are on Hard Rock aim. Of course, with lounette back at the table, they're looking to stay far away, keep this 1-point lead, avoid the breakpoints, and it's going to be DT6 once more going into the Miss Magius aim map. Plenty of doubles finger control in between awkward, I believe 2015 aim.
Yeah, just overall old, awkward aim. I mean, it's something that maybe a lot of players aren't going to be too, you know, focused on, or like too maybe experienced with, but it's definitely something they can, you know, if they've got the practice in it, they're going to be able to do some crazy scores. I mean, we've seen crazy scores on this map already, especially today. I think we saw the Jack packs, I think it was 1/100, I believe, or 2 100s. So, you know, crazy scores are definitely possible. And with it being lounette's pick, where they've been, you know, really good on the aim for this match so far, where, you know, even though they were expected to be the mechanics team so far, this is definitely a pick that I can see them performing well on. And, I mean, basically have performed well on in the past if you look at the other maps in comparison.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot for them. The DT1 worked out perfectly for them. The DT4 was the breakpoint they needed to maintain this lead, still keeping in track with the DT aim picks. as well as Fremont too, being a point that they won. And this kind of feels like just the culmination of all of those maps combined, really. So, lounette, they found their avenue, they found their way to get points in this match, and they're going to continue to run with it as we head into this DT6. Pipotam, similar aim roster as that Fremont 2. It's going to be Chang, Kemzy, Zero Ice, and Hober.
Yeah, and I'm very intrigued to see how this goes. I mean, again, lounette still so strong on these, and I'm just wondering who they do bring in as the roster, because I'd assume they bring in, the roster they had for something like the Fremont 2 or the DTs, but this map is more on the different end, so maybe a different roster required for them. I mean, we are going to be seeing, Zentoro, Chang, Kemzy, and Hober for the side of Pipotam, and it's going to be seeing Sully come in for the aim pick here, same as Thunder, Loncnoir, and Thuya. So it's a little bit of an aim roster change there on the side of lounette, but maybe something they were hoping or practicing for.
Yeah, I am curious about this one, with Sully hopping in, but I assume the approach rate pretty comfortable for them. It was Garage Dulac last time to take the hidden, but now that Thuya and Thunder are both here, it's going to be them on the hidden, I would assume. Actually, no hidden for Thuya. For the first time in this match, it's going to be Sully hidden double time alongside Wonk Noir and Thuya. So, interesting mod switch up, interesting roster switch up as we head into the DT6. And Pipotam, they need this break point if they want to avoid a match point here. Be the only way for them to tie it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised seeing Sully on the hidden. I mean, he's very comfortable on hiddens overall. I see him running hidden pretty much every map that he's been playing. I mean, hidden Hard Rocks, hidden DT now in this case, and even when he plays solo, he does run hidden quite often. So, not too surprised with that small change up coming in and letting Thuya just run the DT only. But maybe it could be a stronger payoff for them. See how it goes. No problems on the first square, but Kemzy does seem to find a break on the small sliders, which is going to be a bit unfortunate for their side, but if you're going to find a miss early is better than the middle section, but that's only in the case of finding misses on the other side. And it does give lounette the early advantage by just a few 100,000.
Yeah, luckily for Kemzy, that break was fairly early on, but it's another one to come through, and that one is a little bit more sinister. I do believe the FC on this map hovering around that 1200 combo range, so that's about a third of the map down for Kemzy in terms of potential score. The finger control so devastating, it's Thuya to find an over-aim on one of those kick sliders. So easy with the control orientation of this map, and going to be the equalizer that Pipotam needed. Just about a 100 combo advantage, but that's going to build up if those FCs continue to hold.
Yeah, I mean, getting a small bit of recovery coming from Kemzy, which will definitely be a bit of a help, but it's still going to be a decent margin to overtake almost a million and maybe even going to start growing. But yeah, those 3 full combos on each side definitely going to be the mainstay points. Oh, and Zentoro and Long Noir both trading each other out, so those misses pretty much don't even do much for each team, as it is perfectly traded out. But another miss coming in from Long Noir, which is going to maybe now start to cause a bit of a bit of a nervous moment for them. Last quarter of the map, still advantage towards lounette.
Oh,
there's the crucial miss coming in from Hober, one of the major full combos going down without a trade on the side of lounette, which means I think it's going to solidify that point over on their side.
yeah, I mean, lounette found a really strong avenue into this match with the aim picks, and despite those little scares with the Thuya kick slider break and Wonk Noir trade, it is them to maintain this double FC. Chang doing their best to wreak havoc on the other side, but 2 is simply better than 1, and math is on their side as they get the match point. Pipotam looking to stay alive. They need to win their own point and win the break point to bring us to tiebreaker now. So back against the wall is when you're strongest, and we'll see if that remains true for Pipotam in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying about it being, a bit unexpected to see Sully come in for the aim pick, but he did actually just kind of wreak havoc overall, bringing in the highest accuracy by a decent solid margin of 99.5, and Thunder being the only person to even come close with the 99.09. I mean, so did Hober as well, but the misses unfortunately being a bit more catastrophic on their side. So, I mean, still a very solid player to bring in for the aim picks, which, might not have been initially expected, but I believe pipotam are immediately going to answer back going into the No Mod 3, the alternating flowing.
This has been a long time coming, I think. In my head, this felt like a given pick for, since the match started. Again, still no Mod 4, which is shocking to me. It not played in any match thus far. However, it is pipotam with the next best thing going into the very, very volatile Flow ult pick. Seeing Cheng in the lobby, likely to see Zany hop in as well. Both very comfortable hidden Flow players in their own right. And
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Both strong players, yeah, there's the Zany as we expected. I mean, I'm not too surprised at those. I'm interested to see who lounette bring in. I mean, I have a slight inkling I'm going to expect Sully as well, again, because of the more flowing focus on this map, but I am interested to see how, who they decide to bring into their team, but it seems perhaps also jumping in. So pipotam already basically having most of their roster decided for this map, and there's Sully, as I kind of hoped and expected to see.
Yeah, Sully hopping in. Flow-focused player for lounette. Thunder as well, likely to be taking the hidden on their side. Perhaps and Kemsey filling in bottom row for pipotam, likely to be the no-mod players in this exchange, given Cheng and Zany's preferences here. Garage Dulac and Thuya on the side of lounette. And I feel like so much saliva is building up in my mouth saying these French names. I don't know how they do it.
It's just built for it. I mean, built different to say the names. I've noticed the entire match, I keep saying garage wrong, and I don't know why. I think it's because I'm trying to read it as French, but then also say it in my usual accent, which is just like breaking my brain. It's so confusing just to say it out loud for me, but I'm gonna keep trying to fix it as I go on. Is it garage or garage? It should be garage, right? I can't do that. My brain breaks saying that, so I'm gonna go with garage.
Any of the three works.
Yeah.
But hiddens, full top row of hiddens. Thank you, players, for beautiful satisfaction on my eyes. This map featuring plenty of stop and go rhythm and awkward flow-in patterns, as you see, snap doubles, as well as slight swing rhythms in between flow out patterns. First fall going to go to Garage as well as Cheng, trading out the misses. The misses on Cheng a little bit more volatile, a little bit deeper in the map, gonna matter a bit more with regards to the score lead. As you start to see that flicker, it is lounette with the advantage.
Yeah, they do get the early advantage, and still very strong scores from the hidden. Garage does also find a miss. Had a bit of an intro slip up. Oh, but so does Sully. So a bit more of a problem for the side of lounette. I mean, even with this coming in early from Cheng, I mean, not too big of a problem for them, especially with the other three holding on comfortably. pipotam do have that advantage, but you have got the accuracy advantage, I believe. Actually, also on the side of pipotam, I mean, they have two 99.8s on the bottom and a 99.5 coming in from Zany, which is not too surprising. But then you have the 99.8 and 99.9 from Thunder and Thuya. But, oh, breakaway from Kemsey, but traded out from Garage, so it's going to be a bit nerve-wracking, but there we go. There's another miss coming through. It's Thunder versus the world, and I do not know if it's going to be enough to bring it over in the last quarter at all.
You need, like, a four-way break now, basically. It's already a 4 million score difference. The FC on this map clocks in at about 11 million. So Thunder out of time and unfortunately out of map as it does start to slow down towards this tail end. And despite the break from Kemsey, incredibly strong accuracies and a single FC, once again, enough to do the job on this incredibly volatile No Mod 3. It's always on Zany. Final triple of the map and closes out that FC with style. And now their story is not quite done. lounette, final pick of the match is inbound, and they need to break point this one to have a chance to win this one in the tiebreaker. lounette have confirmed the match point, but can they confirm the victory? They're looking to do so with Hard Rock 1.
Yeah, the tiebreaker the tiebreaker build-up is definitely starting to get a bit more tense and a bit more exciting, but Lounette maybe wanting to try and close out the match earlier, picking into Hard Rock 1, more aim-focused map with a bit of bursts here and there, yellow trick. I mean, this map, it generally can just be at the end of the match or the start of something insane, and it could be probably a bit tense for all of these players, knowing that you were either having to risk the tiebreaker if you're not comfortable on it, or just, for pipotam being stressed that this could just be the end if they're not careful. So this is probably where a lot of the tension is getting almost to its highest point. Obviously not the highest point because it's not tiebreaker yet, but it's definitely where, the stress can start to make a play in this match.
Yeah, and this one is curious. You're looking at everyone in the lobby. You're looking at what lounette has been picking the whole time. It's been aim, aim, aim. Hard Rock 1. It's aim, but also Hard Rock Comfort is a big thing here as pipotam, they've won both Hard Rock 2 and Hard Rock 3 with 4-way FCs. The question is just if they can clock in that Hard Rock Comfort one final time with that similar roster. And if they can do so, I mean, tiebreaker is surely to be among us. This is going to be an incredibly close final map if it does come to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's possibly one of the most tense it can get. I think the rosters are in. Just need to make a small player swap. So seeing Monk Noir, Thunder, Thuya, and I believe I saw Garage as well coming in for lounette. And so people tell me I have Hobart, Kenzie, Chang, and Zentoro. The players that we've been seeing, I think, the most in this match coming in to possibly make the final play of the match, or, one of the most crucial plays of the match coming in. So this is going to be, this is going to be something. This is where a lot of the stress will come into play, as I've already mentioned, and maybe nerves at the highest point. The good looks are coming out, the players seem to be ready, and we get to see the match enter its final stages with this Hard Rock 1.
Now the final roster switch up, it is going to be Kemsey in place of Zany on the Hard Rock aim, Hober as well, Hard Rock only, Kemsey hidden Hard Rock. All eyes on the prize. Most contested map so far this morning. It's going to be the Hard Rock 1. All systems are a go. It is Zentoro with some slight act drops. All players holding on to SS's otherwise. This map just clocking in at under 2 minutes. Very standardized aim. You're going to be looking for breaks on some of the flow aim maybe, but it's Garage to Lock actually with a slight under aim of some of the beginning patterns, and now pipotam find themselves with a bit of advantage early on. Not a ton of combo advantage because it's an early miss, but little goes a long way in Hippo Cup.
Yeah, especially with, a small bit of an advantage on the combos. They definitely are the most helpful thing to see for your team when you have that small combo advantage. And it could be something you can, you get given an inch and you run it away with a mile. And this is something I think this Team pipotam are able to do. And especially with another miss coming from Garage as well, especially the halfway point now where things are definitely going to be a bit more crucial on those misses and a bit more punishing. And yeah, still the 7-way full combo, but just in need of pipotam by just over a 1.6 mil, I believe. So still more than enough time for, major flops to happen, but I do not think it's something you can rely on. I think there's a high chance for the tiebreaker to be in play.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Hard Rock pool once again for pipotam, a place you would not expect them to fully thrive in, but so far it is all 4 FCs, and all it has taken for lounette to drop these points has been one player on these Hard Rock maps. One falls, and the rest do their best to keep up, but in the face of a 4-way FC, there's not much you can do. pipotam, eyes on the prize. Hober, unfortunately, to not close out that 4-way, but it doesn't matter with a 4 mil advantage, as in a series of 4s, they get their 4th point on the board, as well as a confirmed tiebreaker right before our massive 15 UTC block. And in we go with perfect free tiebreaker time for the first match in this group.
Yeah, I mean, this is something. I mean, going into tiebreaker, right? This is now where the tension is going to be at its highest. Those nerves are going to be the highest. And it's just something the players where, as far as I've seen from a lot of tournament players, not many people go into practice the tiebreaker as much as the main maps because, you know, it's something you're not expecting to always go into. So maybe that practice is not going to be fully confident on this map, but I guess time will only tell, and I'm very interested to see how it goes in this tiebreaker. Have you got any major insights that we could know on this tiebreaker coming in, Hubba?
Yeah, this tiebreaker going to be a light tech consistency check for the ages, of course. With the light tech elements, with the consistency elements, you're looking for players like Zany, like Perhaps, but lounette inherently have an advantage on this map because of the aim. They've been picking aim time and time again throughout this map. All 4 of their points were based off of aim picks. And this map is going to be playing into that skill set just a bit. So it's a raw skill check. It's going to be the raw skill of aim versus the raw consistency of pipotam. And I am excited to see it with Perfect Free.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how it goes. I mean, this is something that I wasn't fully expecting. Okay, solely asking the real questions. Do we need to have exactly 2 hiddens? I think they were hoping to bring in a 3rd or 4th hidden player for it, but it's a bit, you know, it's a bit different. Okay, they're getting a bit more confirmation seeing the hard rocks are allowed, but I don't see people running hard rock on this tiebreaker. I'm going to be honest, I don't see people running it. It's a bit too low probability of a gamble to run into because, you know, easier misses, easier just unfortunate slider breaks, especially being a bit more of a light tech map, so maybe the gamble not worth trying to go into, and I am just very intrigued to see how this goes. I mean, as you're saying, the aim focus from the side of lounette being a bit more at the advantage on a map like this, but at the end of the day, aim is the focus and core of all skill sets in this game, so you can't exactly either, you know, say that pipotam aren't gonna, you know, have a chance at least, and that's where I think the main intrigue for this tiebreaker is going to come in, is just seeing the ebb and flow, the back and forth coming in from both of these teams.
Yeah, this is going to be a curious one. Actually, these rosters, wait just a minute. It's Amount Chopi hopping in for the side of lounette. The last time they were seen was on that Hard Rock 2 in the very first pick, wherein they were the only player to find the break. I am curious about their involvement here in this tiebreaker. It's Lonk Noir and Amount running the Nomads. Hidden's likely to be on Cheng and Zany. As per usual, Sully Thunder running it on the side of lounette. And final map, tiebreaker time, right before a massive 15 UTC block. Perfect Free looking for the consistency versus the aim. This map throws a lot at you and is very of its era from the 2018 mapping front with these 1/3 trickiness as well as these kick slider patterns. It is an onslaught and it only gets harder as it goes on.
Yeah, I mean, this map doesn't give you too much breathing space from what I remember. I mean, the intro being, you know, it's starting off simple, but then the map does start to kick off, and you can hear it even in the song with it being, you know, a bit more of a kickoff at this point, and the map does have its official start, and it is, you know, an early lead inside of pipotam with the accuracies, but, you know, still so much time for it to be changed over. Only 300 combo in, no major problems just yet to be shown. But, you know, the cracks in that confidence are only yet to be exposed, and that's where the main focus of this tiebreaker is really going to start to kick in, and I'm very, very interested to see where the first breaks are going to come in as we do, I believe, go into the first PI, where things start to kick off a bit more tension, a bit more, you know, a bit more of the map, I guess you could say. And it doesn't seem to be any major problems just yet, no major breaks, still the 8-way full combo going in, but there's just nothing to be found yet for any of these teams. There's no major advantage except from the small bit of accuracy on the favor of pipotam, but Sully is the first one to find a break on this tiebreaker to give a more advantage inside of pipotam, which is going to be helping them quite significantly on this map.
Yeah, right in this quarter mark. Luckily, it did not happen a little deeper in the map, but that second break not doing him any favors. As we look at the player field about a quarter in, It's 3 FCs for lounette versus the 4 on pipotam, perhaps still holding on to the SS. You are looking for any sign of nerves on these cursors, any sort of shake in the aim from these players. It is perhaps a little precarious on the side of Cheng. I'm seeing a little bit of shake there, but otherwise it's looking fairly confident for these players. As we round about to our first 1K combo, it's still just the only break from Sully, but accuracy advantage as well as combo advantage now, both in favor of pipotam.
Yeah, I mean, still half the map, still over half the map remaining. Still definitely a lot of major chances for those breaks to come in, especially as there's a few more PIs that are easy to find those breaks on. And one of them kicking in now, where we saw the first break come in with the first PI, but now do we get to see a second break come in? And it's going to be a side of pipotam you have to keep your eyes on, because those misses are the ones that are going to be controlling this match from this point onwards, as they do have a very strong lead, but that can still flip at a moment's notice because of the combos growing further and further. And going through this PI, it doesn't seem to be any more misses added to the table. And it seems to be still a relatively even bout from each side, except from the one unfortunate miss coming in from Sully at the start.
Yeah, still just so consistent with this 4-way. 100 dropped by both Zany and perhaps only signs of weakness on those players portrayed, as if Sully is the only break in this one, this would be the most impressive tiebreaker showing I have seen in a match. This has been incredibly close through and through. Final aim section before the tech diff spike of our final third. And I mean, I am shocked at the current moment. I'm really unsure what to do. There's already a 13 mil score advantage on the side of pipotam, so I think it may even take more than one break at this point. Oh my god, ask and ye shall receive, I suppose. Cheng first to fall on the side of pipotam. Sully has 14 million scored to their name, about 30 million on the FCs in the lobby, 27 on the side of Cheng, but as these combos grow, it is a slight combo advantage on the side of lounette. It's perhaps to find that break as well, a double break from Thunder and Sully to trade it out. Still the 10 million score lead. It's all up to the FCs now, and Zany or Kemzy need to find the break for lounette to have the chance in this matchup. It's been so close going on through this pick. It only was decided by a singular breakpoint on each side, but Zany and Kemzy looking to call it through, and with that FC down for a Malchopi, I do believe that is the match through and through, as the rest of this one, very, very slow ending. Long Noir holding on to the best of their abilities, but job well done to pipotam with this double FC. Kemzy, Zany pulling through in a massive way. Perhaps and Cheng as well, bringing their combos up to that 1700 mark. And despite the rocky road, despite the break from Kemzy, it is a confirmed victory for pipotam, first in their group, as we prepare for our next block of matches. Beautiful scores from pipotam. Zany with the Soul FC 5 100s to their name.
Genuinely just phenomenal score coming out from Zany. I mean, I was counting the 100s as they were going in, and it was just such an impressive showing coming in. And such strong scores from all the side of pipotam. It was such a close match. It was looking like lounette were going to be the ones to take it home in the early half, especially even towards the end as well. But unfortunately, that consistency just pays off for pipotam, and they are the ones to bring it home for themselves. It was well played, and that is GG's.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff from them, but we are going to be transitioning immediately into our 15 UTC block of matches. Give me passing over comms as well to T1G and Dio. I've been Hubba, he's been Torva. Thank you, James, for the stream, and we will be catching you next time for Hippo Cup.
Alright, see yous, and good luck to the next matches. Bye-bye!